Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. Time for number 2 in my series of crafts, Ghosts of Crafts Past. Blah. So last week we did the peel off stickers and used them as stencils. Today we're sticking with stickers, but I don't know about you guys, but scrapbooking wise, so last time we dealt with mainly card making supplies. This time it's the scrapbooking supplies, and we used to have stickers with numbers on them and alphabets. I don't know if I've got any yet. And alphabets, things like that. All right, so I've had this around forever. Does it even have a date on it? Long time ago, probably 10 years or so. And you know, you just chuck them in the back of the cupboard as you do. So what I like to do with these, and I've been doing it for a while now, and I thought I'll show you all what I like to do. I like to grunge them up. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you'll know most of my stuff is vintage and grungy and inky. You know me, I love my inky. So, sorry, my chair is really squeaky today. I'm putting it down to the weather and not my weight. Right, so let's pull some out, because this is my little container that I keep these in once they're done. And it's ready to be filled again. So, can you see those? They make the most wonderful colours. Now, from memory, that was blue. This lot were pink, and I've left a little bit of the pink on these ones and left them a little bit lighter. There's some already black ones that I came across that are in there. So they are so easy to do, so easy to do. So I'm going to do a couple of different ones. I've pulled these ones off, and I've chopped these ones came with an alphabet as well. So I've chopped the alphabet off so it's in a smaller thing to show you. These are a matte finish, so there's no shine to them at all. Hang on, I'll go closer. Right, so there's no shine. Whereas these ones are a lighter weight one. They were just from the $2 shop, but they have a bit of a shine to them. So I just want to show you that they will all work. If we get time, I'll play with some of the alphabets in here. And I've also got a big old Kaisercraft one that's all big numbers. I love them because I love them, putting them on collages. I'll put them in amongst my clusters, things like that. So, matte one, nice and easy. And I'm sorry if this is going to glare. Oh, and I haven't cleaned it. But I need my matte. If you've got a old paper, put that down. Old baking paper, one of the silicone mats, or your glass mat, because it's all inking. So I'll move my board right away. Just bear with me and I'll swap that back in there. Right, so because these are matte, I can just go with them straight away. And what I tend to do is right beside me, I've got a drawer with all my archival inks. Because these are matte, I don't have to worry too much about my inks, whether they're water-based, permanent, things like that. So, but I'm just grabbing these because they're here. So this is just an archival ink in sepia. And all I'm going to do is just rub across. Now, because this is a permanent ink, and I should have done that in the first place, I'm going to just grab a piece of scrap paper. I've cleaned up my desk. Oh my word, I've cleaned up my desk. So, I'll just, hang on, I'll rip that off badly. It's probably because I've ripped 2 sheets. Yes, I have. There you go. Right. Just so that I don't get the permanent ink all over that. So, I just want to build up my colours and my layers, and I'm just going flat to the desk. So I'm just holding it like this, putting a little bit of pressure with my pointer finger, and I'm just lightly rubbing it. You don't want to rub it too hard because you don't want to damage your ink pad anyway. So let's just start adding some colours to this. So let's go a lighter one. I have Tree Branch here as well, which is a Wendy Vicky one. Now that's a lighter one, but it gives me a different brown. Okay. And then, because these are matte and I don't have to worry about them too much with the type of ink, I'll go back to my Distress inks. So the good old brushed corduroy with a blending tool. Get some ink on that. And I'm just going to go over it. And so it starts to take that yellow out and allows you to pick and choose your colour range that's in there. So I don't want them a solid colour. The whole point for me with this is so that I get a mixed grungy colour, not just a solid colour, which is like in that packet that I had. Here we go. They're just plain black. Now they work fine, but sometimes for me they're a little bit boring. So I want a little bit of, I don't know, in and out. That's the wrong word, I know. But I just want a little bit of variety in my colour. Let's put some darker on there. Some gathered twigs. Each time you do it, it's going to come out a little bit different. So now I'm just picking areas and I can make them as dark or as light as I like. I could keep working, because this is a matte, I could keep working with my Distress inks, but the only ones I have sitting in front of me are my basic ones that I use all the time. The rest are all in another drawer, which is harder to get to. And I use antique linen, brushed corduroy, and gathered twigs, all walnut stain, just depending on which one's running low at the time. So at the moment I'm on a gathered twigs kick. So it's now starting to get to that. And actually, oh, here we go. Right. There's my bag with all my bits and bobs in it, ready to go, or ones that... So if I pull out the rest of that, you can see the difference as we're going. That's what it was. That's what it is now. But I'd like some darker in that. So, again, my archival. Now, this one's getting very dry, which is why these days I tend to use my Versaclear in the black. But for things like this, it'll allow me to still do this. When I'm stamping, it's not quite juicy enough, and I'm too lazy to get a refill and put in it. But for things like this, where I'm just using my full ink pad, so now I can just pick with the corner of my ink pad, pick different areas to grunge up. I don't want them all the same. The whole point of this is so that they're all just a little bit different. And when I go to use them, of course, I'm not using the whole thing as in, because I'm using them for my journals, I won't sit down and use, 2022 or something like that where they all need to be the same. I just want the odd number sitting with a cluster or sitting on an envelope, things like that. So for me, like that. How's that? Okay, see how easy they are with a matte. Right, so if we're not using a matte base, what we need to start with, so these ones, as I said, they're really thin, but they're slightly glossy. You'll need your archival inks or your permanent inks for those sorts of ones. But what I like to do with those, reach down here, is I use my sandpaper. So either just normal sandpaper or a sanding block, depending on what they're like. These are very thin. And I'm just going to rough them up a bit because I don't want the shininess on there. I want to take that up a little bit so that the ink has something, I don't know, to hold on to, I suppose would be the best bit for it. I don't know if that's a technical term for it or if that's what it's actually doing, but that's how it works for me. I might actually go into that one because I've got more pressure just over a specific one. So there we go. Look at that. That's a little bit easier. Sometimes it pays just to have a little piece of sandpaper. Now, so let's actually put a little bit of colour in these, depending on the journal that you're doing. Most of my time, as I said, I work in blacks and browns and tans and those sorts of things. But why can't we put a little bit of colour? Those other ones that we had started off pink or blue, and they've got a little bit of that tinge to them. So let's make that tinge. All right, so I've got rid of a little bit of the shine, but it's roughed it up enough to actually get some colour on there now. So let's pull out Cornflower Blue as our base. So again, same sort of principle, and I'm just rubbing it over. Some of them will need drying time, even though it's permanent, fairly quick drying ink. You might end up with coloured fingers, and if you're going to put them on your journals, just give them a little bit of drying time. All right, so let's try a brighter blue, because why not? Let's have a look. What about a hydrangea? Because that's all still in there. Let's have a look and see what that's going to give me. It's going to give me that slight purple toning, and I'm still going to put my browns and my blacks and all that on there. But I just want to, so remember, this is flat. Try to keep your stickers flat as well. All right, so I'm giving it a little bit of colour now instead of just that plain basic white. So let's go a little bit of tree branch again, and now we'll start putting my grungy colours through it. But again, the colours are up to you. It's what you want to use and the colours that you use through your journals. And that, as the whole point of this, is to make them usable for your journals. So for me, they're all these sorts of colours. It's so easy to do. All right, a little bit more brown in there. See, they're already, for me, coming up as wonderful. I love having the blues and the hydrangea in there. You've got to remember, that's what they were to start with. So for me, that's rather boring. All right. This time I've gone into my sepia, which is that, I wouldn't say it's a darker brown. It's just a different brown. It's sepia. Might actually go with a little bit of coffee. We all need coffee. You can just keep layering this up and layering it up and layering it up. As I said, these ones were just literally $2 stickers that came in like a pack of, I don't know, I think there were like 6 or 8 sheets in the bigger ones and 4 sheets in the little ones. So, you know, they're a dime a dozen. All right, let's go coffee. They're a dime a dozen, or we've got them floating around in our back of our cupboards like those big ones. I'll do one of the big ones in a minute. And then we'll do some bits and bobs where we use them. So I'm liking that colour. And I'll sit them up in a minute so that you can actually see it. I'm hoping I'm still in shot, yes. I can just go over where I need to go now. So now, look at that. That is so me. Don't know if it's you, but it is so me. So Look at the difference. For me, as I said, that's just boring, but that's me. For me, that is something that I would use. Well, I do. I use and I use and I use because that's what all that. So you can see some of them I've gone really, really dark. Others, that was a red one to start with, so I've just popped a couple of brown ones on it. That one had blue on it to start with. That one was the pink one to start with, and I've just very lightly gone over it with a black and then a brown so that I've still got that tinge of pink going through. So every time they come out different. So you look at the array, there's the one that we just did a while ago too. You look at the array of colours that I've got going on there. You think of those with the Tim Holtz peoples or some of his papers and all of that sort of thing. They're just yummy, yummy. Right, that one I don't need there anymore. What we're going to do now, and I'm very, very quickly going to do the big, right, this big sucker. So, let's do a K. We could do any colour, any one we want, but let's do a K because it's me. Me. Right. And this is a matte finish as well, so I don't need to pre-sand it or anything else. And I'm just very lightly going to go over, and I'm just using the end this time because I'm not doing the whole thing. And a little bit of brown. I'll go my tree branch, which is a nice little sexy brown. So you can use your blending tool if you want. I tend not to so much with these. You can use these sorts of ones and blend them. And I'll just have one for all of them. Thank you very much, Marissa, who showed me that I can do them with my archive links. But I don't want too much of a one colour. So a little bit of that, a little bit of coffee. See, for me, I'd much prefer just to rub my inks on. Now that used to be green. I want a little bit of hint of green through there. And let's have a look. So, you know, oh, that's because I'm reaching up there. I'm just grabbing a piece of coffee dyed paper, just a light coffee. So these would need a little bit of glue on the other side because they are so old, but we get the gist. So look at that compared to, where's one that I haven't touched? And then, look at the difference. One alphabet set. Okay, happy with that. I'm wrapped with it. I do it all the time because, as I said before, I've got lots of these little ones. So let's just have a look, see what we can do with them. What have I got on my desk? I've had so many jobs on the go on my desk lately, and I do slightly clean up between times, but there's still bits and bobs sitting around. All right, envelope. Just a normal envelope. I've sealed, I've cut in half. It'll become a pocket. Okay, so let's just make we'll bring the scrap bin over because I love my scrap bin. And my scrap bin has all sorts of bits and bobs, bits that have torn, lots of book pages, things like that. So let's actually get some book pages. We'll very quickly collage this up. We're going that way. So I'll go back to that one. I have no idea what time I started. I didn't look. I don't want this to be too long. Famous last words for me, really, isn't it? But I'm thinking somewhere around half an hour. Just so that you can see how we're then going to use them. Let's actually put it on the top. Right, and we'll just generally go through, find some lighter stuff. I've got some heavier in here as well. Bit of dictionary page. Right. It's also a good way, I find, when I'm doing these sorts of things, as in this now, is a good way of me cleaning up my desk, kind of. Because I will, for the most part, use all the bits that are then sitting on my desk after I've done a project. So, because I've done a couple of bits of filming today, I have had to clean up a little bit between lots and everything I've just chucked in here. So all my little bits that are usually just floating around my desk are actually now sitting on my in my scrap bin, which is good, which is amazing for me actually. Right, so put some colour in there. Let's put some colour in there. All right. Oh, am I still in shot? Sorry. All right. Now, let's just do that one. Oh, dropping everything. Might help if I actually close that ink straw, because it sits right beside me so that I can just reach over with my right hand. But there we go, closed. That was the other way, wasn't it? Because I want to put something up there. So let's go that way. That's my problem when I collage. I think too much, I think. Right. So now I want a bit of a focal point. I'm just going to pop that. Let's pop that back where it belongs. Pop that one over there. And now I want to trim that. Now you can do the back side of these as well. With something like this, most times I will stick it down so that I've got a pocket in here, or you could just have it as in a tuck, have that side done as well, and then you've still got your little pocket. Alright, I really like those colours. I really like those colours. So I'm going to put something here with some of that. Let's have a look at some lace. You're a bit too cream. Let's go a bit whiter. You might be too wide. Why is it we can never find just the right lace, just the right time? You'll do. I've got them all in there colour-coded. So I have the whites and the off-whites, and then the creams, and then the slightly browner ones and all the rest, and then the coffee dyed, tea dyed, etc. But I really need to have them in there in width. All right. And we'll go flower, not a flower. What do I want? Butterfly in a small. Oh, that's getting low. Let's go butterfly in a slightly larger one. What do you reckon? All right, slightly larger butterfly, since that one's having a bit of a hissy. And then I better set to and actually cut out some more, hadn't I? So this is just a collection of butterflies that I have that are from all different companies. Some are scrapbook paper that I've cut out. Some are from, so I think some are Tim Holtz. Some are Shabby Dabby Doodah. Some might be Kaiser. Some might be Uniquely Creative. I just chuck them all in here. So if If there's some in there that are not mentioned, I'm sorry. If I've got them from you and I haven't mentioned them, then yes, I am sorry. Let's just... And then I'm using these numbers. If I go a circle, let's have a look. I've got a 2-inch circle there. I reckon that might be way too big. 1.5. Oh, what about one of my ovals, actually? Let's have a look. Next size up. That size. In an oval, sitting in amongst that. So, colour-wise, what do we want? Let's have a look on the desk. Desk is not going to do anything. Let's go with... I want lighter. So I'm just going to pull down a pile. Sorry if I'm stretching right over you. I'm just going to pull down a pile of coffee dyed bits and bobs that are going to show out, that is still going to allow those to show out. So let's have a look. This might be too thin. Nope. Awesome. And we'll put a number on there, any number I like. Let's go for 5. I think 5 is a good number. And I will just put some glue on that, because, yeah, they are old stickers. Let's get that glob off there. Right, so, and I'm still using the old glue. Got a new one sitting there, but this one's getting very low. So it's now sitting upside down, or on an angle. Right, tweezers. I reckon I could have done with the lighter one, you know, with the smaller one. Right, we'll give that a little bit of an ink. Oh, I should have stamped that, actually. That would have been nice with a script stamp going across it. Oh well. Next one. I don't think that butterfly's going to work. Where's the one that I had a while ago that wasn't quite so V'd? Oh, actually, you're the same colours, but you're not as V'd, are you? Right. We'll go that one instead. I'm just going to give it an edge, and this is just with my gathered twigs, so it's a darker edge. Just very rough and ready, so that I cover up this little piece without covering up my 5. And I want a little bit of lace down there, and I just want that much. Right, so move that, put that one back in there. I'll close that. That back in the butterflies, large beside butterflies, small. Right, I'm going to adhere my lace on. All right, lace goes that way. And I'm actually going to fray that out just a little bit more. I'll trim off a little bit of the frayed bits, but I want it frayed. Like so that it looks well worn, loved, etc. That's going to go along there. Oh, that's coming out already. Right. So just a little bit. Now this is just the Hilmar fabric glue. So it's like the Hilmar 450 that I use, which will work with fabric as well, but this one's put out specifically for fabric. So I've just changed all my laces over to using this one. Just very lightly put it on, otherwise I have it all over my fingers. It's all over my fingers from doing the last one a couple of hours ago. Right. This one can sit down here on my lace. This one, if I can pick it up, I'll sit in there like that. Right. Alright, so a little bit of glue, just my normal white glue. This one's the Couture Creations one. Have you sitting that way? That there, wasn't it? And a little bit with my, what is it? Butterfly. A little bit with my butterfly. And you'll see just how different they work. I'm going to have to put the pin, etc. back on that one. Sit you down that way. And what did I just do with my tweezers? Just here. Right. How's that? How quick was that? Right, now where are those? All right, that's what they were. That's what they are now. How easy was it to change them so that we can use them for whatever it is we're doing in our journals? Just because we've got them sitting around and they're the wrong colour for the ones that we're working on at the moment doesn't mean that you can't use them. And we all go through stages and we all have different colours sitting around and that we've used in other crafts. So this is our, as I said, number 2 for our series in Ghosts of Crafts Past. And yeah, do we like? I'm hoping we like. If you like this one, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed by yet, please subscribe. I'd love you to join us and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.